Hi, welcome to C&T Collectibles. I am C. Hope everybody had a terrific weekend. Time to get back at it. And this is 3 Up and 3 Down, where we look at the top 3 risers and fallers on Card Ladder in baseball cards over the last week. And then we'll jump over to StarStock and take a look at some players who performed well on the actual diamond, see what, if anything, we should be doing with them, and then a little housekeeping at the end. But let's start it off with our number 3 faller for the week. And we like the fallers because, again, if you're in this for the short term, if you're looking to flip, you want volatility, and there's nothing more volatile than players or cards like Derek Jeter, 1993 Select, and a PSA 9 that dropped 68% in 1 week. So that is your number 3 faller, brings it into a little topping pattern here, and there's nothing you can do about it because one sale brought it into this zone, so a lot of buying in here, and I would expect that this area gets filled at some point here, but again, probably in for a lot of sideways action and volatility, which is what you want, right? So, all right, our number 3 riser for the week is Matt Chapman, his 2017 Topps update in a PSA 10. So been trending down for a while here, and then the bottom dropped out. But brought it back to this area where in 2019 it last hit. And buyers, or one buyer actually, a couple of them, came in and started buying them up. So over the first couple of years of his career, I mean, this looked like a can't-miss guy's defense. He was hitting 35 home runs. And over the past couple of years, things just really haven't gone his way. He's got some hip problems. And so we'll see if he can put it back together. But people are at least interested in his card. It's only $33. And why not? I mean, there's probably worse ways to spend $33. So your bottom area here is about that $15 area with upside. Don't know if you're getting back up to here anytime soon without him hitting another 35 home run. So that is your number 3 riser for the week. Number 2 faller for the week, DJ LeMahieu. So not a heavily traded card by any stretch here, at least on eBay. The PSA 10, pretty light volume here, so it can get pushed around pretty easily. Down 55% for the week here. But yeah, he's come back down into an area now where there has been some buying and selling, in that, call it $60 area here. So, we could see, again, down 55% a week. It wouldn't surprise me to see a pop in this card here. So, not having the worst season ever, at least. But he's a little bit older, and, his Hall of Fame track, it's a little bit mixed. But, what the heck, that's a decent shot. If you're looking for a DJ LeMahieu, this is your best chance in a while. Leave it at that. All right, our number 2 riser for the week, Ronder Franco, getting the call. He's coming up, and he's going to start playing for the big club on Tuesday. So wanted to sneak him in here one way or another, and his card was one of the bigger risers for the week. So I said, well, that's an easy way to take care of this one here. So we've had this range outlined for a while. I think we look more at the chrome, but that's why I kind of focus on just the PSAs, the bases for the most part, because the rest of the cards, they tend to follow to an extent here. So anyways, top of the range, bottom of the range, and now you're right at the top of the range again. So again, 122% in a week. This could be very much a buy the rumor, sell the news type deal, and selling has taken place in this area before. So if you're able to take advantage of that and even looking to sell, this could be the spot. But again, that's the PSA 9, the PSA 10 considerably higher. All right, our number 1 faller for the week, Griffey. What? Why are you selling Griffey? 1989 Upper Deck Star Rookie VGS 9.5, down 68% in the week here, and you can see it's just real volatile. We like something like this, lots buying, and it's pretty steady. And up here, you just have these stomach churning moves. So that's how it goes when you have a big rise. Well, typically it leads to a big fall, and so we'll see if that can reverse. But if you're looking for a high grade example of that Griffey Star Rookie, you're getting into, this is kind of your area to do it in, and you're really close to that now. Even better if you're really patient, you might get another crack in here, but that could be a long time. So we'll see how that goes. All right, our number 1 riser for the week, Gavin Lux. I don't know why. I mean, he's playing, so is that enough to do it here? So trending down, breaking out of this, up 140% in the week. So what do we have? One person do that one, so up up a current price $125. So that's the refractor. I'm actually happy about that. This is a player I was buying in the off season. Hasn't really worked until this week here. If you just ignore all that, if you ignore all this, then hey, that looks like a really good job. So breaking out of the range, and again, if this was a faller in the near future, I guess it probably wouldn't surprise me too much here. So those are your risers and fallers. Let's skip over to Fangraphs, and we'll look at some players of the week. And one moment, please. move myself out of the way here, and we'll start it off with Chris Flexen, who had a really nice game against my Minnesota Twins. 8 innings pitched, 1 win, 8 strikeouts, 0 earned runs, and 0 walks. And so he is a 26-year-old, call it 27, 11 months, 10. Happy birthday 10 days early, Chris Flexen. So about 27 years old. Doesn't have any wins to his name, really, so he's been a negative player. But this year's been really good. So you can see that that's his game log here. Let's go to his season stats. That's where I meant to have him. I'm like, why does this look different? That's why it looks different. So you can see that he's been pitching at about a 4 ERA, and everything lines up. He should be about a 4 ERA. Drops, walks are pretty low. Not a whole lot of strikeouts. And not even StarStock has cards listed for him. So this is someone that, if you're interested in, you could probably get pretty cheap. But as far as short term, long term, kind of it's your back end starter, and he's having a fairly decent season. All right, Pablo Lopez, a little more interesting here. So 25 years old, 3 months. And he's having a really, really nice season. He's put up a couple of bits of war over the past couple of years, and now, despite the record, having a pretty good year. Striking out nine guys per 9. Walks are relatively low. I mean, nothing stands out like, that what he's doing, this 2.86 ERA, that it should be hugely higher. The home run to fly ball rate, so it's up there just a little bit here. So his xFIP is about that 3.5. But he's controlling the guys on base at a pretty decent level. So pretty low ERA, maybe a little bit of regression. And if we go over to StarStock, Pablo Lopez, look at his 2019 Top Series 1. Top Series 1, man, it's coming along a little bit here. No one liked it at first. You can see that his StarStock A's are in that 20 cent area here, and starting to rise a little bit. People are recognizing that he's a decent player, and there's a decent level of support, kind of in the 15-20 cent area here. So if you're interested in a Pablo Lopez, this seems like a pretty decent risk reward, especially if it comes back in the 20 cent area here, and you've got upside to 40 cents, which doesn't sound super exciting, but that's a double. So, all right, let's get to Charlie Morton. He's been around for a while, and he's been a solid pitcher for a while. I'd go over Pablo Lopez. Pablo Lopez, 7 innings pitched, 1 win, 7 strikeouts, 1 hit. All right, Charlie Morton, 7.2 innings pitched, 1 win, 7 strikeouts, no runs, and no walks. And he's been solid for a really, really long time. And, he had some a couple seasons with some nice wins, especially recently. 2019 was terrific. Bit of an outlier, it looks like. But this year he's back on track. Could be a 4.5 win player. But he is 37 years old, so I don't think there's much to do with him. Good, nice high strikeout rate. Walks are not ridiculous. A little high this year. But I think he started out a little bit rough. He's starting to correct that a little bit here. So again, home run to fly balls, a little bit higher than what he's done. He's had that in the past a bit here, but his really good seasons, he's been able to maintain that at a lower rate here. And the ERA is a little bit high, and there's room for actual positive regression. So he's a terrific fantasy player for the back end of your rotation as far as cards. Not even StarStock has a whole lot of his things on there, so no reason to go look. But if you're a Charlie Morton fan, his cards should be pretty cheap, and I wouldn't pay a whole lot for them. Again, that long term, not much there for that long term track. All right, a player that could have a pretty nice long term track, Shohei Ohtani. So let's see, he went 8 for 31 with 6 home runs and 9 RBI, and on the pitching side, he had 6 innings pitched, 1 win, 5 strikeouts. And only gave up 1 walk and 1 earned run. So getting those walks under control is a big deal here. So he's almost 27 years old, having a monster season. I mean, it's really him and Vlad, I think, for MVP here. And I think there's enough people leaning towards Ohtani. Can't argue either way here. So on the hitting side, striking out a pretty decent amount, but he's hitting bombs at a ridiculous pace. I mean, if he's not tied, he's leading the league here with a pretty nice average. So I mean, someone's gonna lead the league in home runs while hitting 270, 280, which is like the new 300. Pretty incredible stuff here. So 168 WRC plus. I mean, there's just not much to say other than what a beast, having a terrific season. So you can pick on, and I did. I picked on the strikeouts and the walk rate, and I couldn't be more wrong. He's just, everything else is just so incredible that it makes those other stats pretty irrelevant here. So let's see, pitching, K9, 12 strikeouts per 9 innings. So again, the walks are pretty high here. xFIP around 344, so you could see a little bit of regression in the pitching. But if he gets those walks under control and brings the home runs down, I mean, the one run he gave up was on a home run. It's hard. I can't even say there's something there because what he's doing is so crazy. It's already there. But the card market, his market is looking a little thin here, and then you're starting to get a big drop into an area where there's more buying. But honestly, it could continue to slide a bit here. Now, if you got some backing and filling in here, that wouldn't be much of a surprise. But that PSA 10. Maybe it creeps down to that 80 or something like that. If you start to see regression over his pace slows just a little bit, that StarStock A, it looks a lot more interesting, I would say, in this area here. So we don't care about the ungraded, but let's see what the Bs are looking like. And again, pretty toppy. You want that to come back down to at least to $14, but really, if it came back down to $6 or $8, that's an even better spot. So I think if you're patient, maybe just let's see how this plays out here. All right. Pure hitters, not the hitters and the pitchers. Jose Altuve is really having a terrific season here. So 9 for 27, 4 home runs, 9 ribs, 8 runs scored. He's 31 years old, just turned 31 years old, and he already has 38 wins to his name. So there's players. So he's kind of on that path with, if you look at like Goldschmidt, Freddie Freeman, where they're sitting around that 40, 42 or something like that wins, right around the same age. He's had the last couple of last year was not great. 2019, we're not going to talk too much about that, but if you look what he did previously, 6 and 7 wins, a 5-win season, 4-win season. If he's able to do this for the next 4 years, you're talking about 4 or 5 win player. By call it the next 4 or 5 years, something like that. By age 35, he's sitting around 60 wins, and he's got a few other issues here, but that could be enough for Hall of Fame consideration. He does have Aaron Judge's MVP in here, so he's an interesting case to say the least here. So over on StarStock, not a lot of activity here. You can see a PSA 10 sold for $40. And there's a number of them listed for $75, and if you're able to get it for $60, a guy, and compare that to guys that are on a similar path, and this is how you kind of value things. You have to compare him to his peers. So if you compare him to like a Goldschmidt or Freeman, those types of players, that's a really cheap card. So he's got more question marks. It probably should be cheap, but all things considered, it's like, that's an interesting one, and he's playing like vintage Altuve this year. Mike Yastrzemski playing like vintage Yastrzemski over the past week. So 9 for 33, 3 home runs, 11 RBI, and 8 runs scored. The biggest knock right now is he's 30 years old and he's been in the league for a couple of years. So that long-term viability is not there. And he's been 2-win player in 2019, playing 2/3 of a season last year. Got in a full season as cumulative, so that was a really good season. Probably a 5 or 6 win season. And this year he's going to hover around maybe that 4-win area here, but he profiles all right here. Doesn't strike out at an egregious amount. I'd like to see more power with that strikeout rate, but the average is low. But the BABIP probably has a little bit of room to go. If you look at the StatCast, not a huge amount of power by any stretch here, and you could stand to see that hard hit rate climb a little bit. So overall, what you're seeing is a nice player who had a really nice week. And you can see this reflected in his StarStock stuff here. So over the past couple of weeks here, June 14th, June 16th, as he's kind of gotten a little bit hot, the prices got a little bit out of control. It's at a really low level. I don't know what it takes to get back up here. That's preseason hype. But again, 30 years old with a couple of awards to his name. I'm personally not doing anything with it. Although I did in 2019, before I really started digging into the numbers, I bought a gold, and it was cheap. It was like $15 or something like that. But not a card I would, looking at now, that I would probably do anything with. All right, Brandon Belt, finish it up here. 12 for 32, 3 home runs, 6 RBI, 8 runs scored. 33 years old, and he's got a decent amount of WAR. This is a good player for a long time. Not a great player or anything like that, but he's been around a long time. He really had a pretty nice career here, so in a monster week. So I've always kind of pulled for Brandon Belt, but age combined with his wins above replacement, not a card that you pay a ton for. So $140 is a StarStock A, and even that probably 40 cents looks more interesting. So if you're a Brandon Belt fan, have at it, have fun. I think if you're looking for long-term collectability, it's not quite there. So appreciate you watching. Quick bit of housekeeping. I'm going to take a break from YouTube here, so I certainly appreciate all of the support. The break might last a couple days, couple weeks. See when I get the itch again. I thank everybody for their viewership and again their support. But I just gotta figure out what I want to do with this thing. And it's summer in Minnesota. We don't get a lot of really nice days, and the time I'm putting into this, a little more than I probably should. So again, hope everyone has a great day. I look forward to seeing you in comments and other videos. And take care of yourselves. Bye now.